do believe one of the key things we need to discover how to integrate in truly walking the spiritual path is how to transition from a life that is governed by doing and instead to a life that is inspired by being. I think the key thing to really grasp is that there is only one being in the universe. There is only one self. And therefore, in my reality at least, there can only really be one purpose. And that is to experience and express that one self. So life really, to me, is all about expression, all about honoring who we truly are and discovering, learning how to listen to that, to feel it fully inside, attune to it, and let it out. So for example, the first thing in coming from a life of being, the first thing to really ask oneself moment by moment is, how do I feel to be now? And this is one of the hardest things, because the world outside is continually wanting us to do things. It's continually got agendas, goals, ambitions, desires, things we should want. And all of these things tend to obscure, tend to distract from the true feeling, true sense of beingness within. It's all about, how do I shape my life out there? How do I get the job I want? How do I get the relationship I want? How do I, configure my home life or how I'm living? How do I do these things? And all of these thought processes are obscuring the key creative component that you really have in your life, and that is what you feel to be in this moment. If I can truly sit with myself and what I'm feeling to be, and honor that, then I'm going to start infusing energy of my true self. And that energy is going to come into higher mind and start to shape situations and circumstances to explore an aspect of beingness. Because remember, that's what this is really all about. And then as that happens, it's going to start moving, that energy is going to start moving into the field around us. And by the law of attraction, it's going to start drawing people, circumstances, situations and events to us. And then we have this incredible mirror, the mirror that is taking place all around us. And it's really crucial at this point to understand exactly what the mirror is saying. Because in the mirror, it's going to show you one of two things, and mostly both things. It's going to show you gifts of beingness that are wanting to be unveiled, that are as yet undiscovered and wanting to really come through. And it's going to show you where you get distorted, where you close down, where you're going to get tight. And so your consciousness is creating these kinds of events and circumstances. Then the invitation is to observe then, well, what am I actually creating in the mirror? So the energy comes into the field, starts to shape these circumstances and events, and then I'm invited to look and feel my distortion, whatever it is that's coming up. Let's say, for example, a classic thing is, in the spiritual circles that I've noticed, is the feeling of lack of support, lack of material support. And that, of course, relates to a lack of divine support in general, really, or we may feel that. So the key is to ask, well, where did this neediness, where did this desire, where did this sense of lack really come from? Maybe it came from my childhood. Maybe I didn't feel I was properly supported in my endeavors, in my creative ability. Maybe the world wasn't really supporting me in that, or didn't feel like it was. And so I got tight and I took on this idea, this notion, this conditioning that the world really is not a very friendly place and it doesn't provide exactly what we really need to be us. And so maybe we took on this idea, this conditioning, and this built up a consciousness within what some might call a kind of poverty consciousness, that there is not enough. So we might have built this inside. And sure enough, that's what the mirror creates. But rather than then trying to manifest support intentionally by focusing on it and saying, this is what I really want in life, because that's really just an intellectual bubble that is sure to burst at some point. Instead of doing that, the key is to explore this sense of lack. What does that do to you inside? What do you feel about that? How do you contract with that? And instead of contracting, to really sit in it, feel it, expand into it, and discover that the nothingness that is there is actually, it's awesomely okay. And that I can be absolutely awesomely okay in that nothingness. And if I can do that, then I'm going to touch the void. Now, interestingly, the void is a very special place, because the void is a place of infinite possibility. And if I can sit in that void just long enough, then surely what's going to happen is that spark of divine magic, which just wants to arise, shape some kind of synchronistic circumstance which points me in the right direction, with all of the support that we need. And the events and circumstances are then going to start to shape. Then we discover nothingness is everythingness. And our beingness then expands into this void, and we express out of it. And it's the very expression that then puts energy into the field, which then starts to shape these new positive circumstances. And all we really need to do is align with that beingness, to give our full mental, physical, emotional expression to that creative act. And if we do, we're unleashing beingness into the field, and beingness then really does shape and change the world in a positive way. So it's not trying to manifest some reality that we would want. It's being awesomely okay with what we're already creating, because we are immensely creative beings. So it's being okay with that and asking not how can I change the world, but how am I already creating the world I'm experiencing? What is it that really serves me that I see in the mirror? What doesn't serve me? And if it doesn't serve me, what is it about my past? What is it about my conditioning that has caused that? How can I expand into it, dissolve it, until I'm awesomely okay? Then that energy dissolves from my life. I'm left then with a blank canvas. The blank canvas that has infinite possibility. And then anything can happen. And it's just a question of aligning with what then wants to take place. To me, this is what be the change really means. It's how beingness is the change. That's what I believe what we really need to discover.